There we are. Hey everyone, welcome again. I'm Cassandra Lee, your facilitator for our District 103 Toastmasters Senior Advisor webinar series. This is going to be an opportunity for all of us who are club leaders, district leaders, and club members to learn a topic that can be beneficial for the growth and fulfillment of our clubs. I'm thinking growth and fulfillment, that almost sounds like a banking term. Therefore, growth and retention. That's more of a Toastmasters term. Welcome, everyone. This will be an opportunity today for us to embark upon a topic that we started last month, and that is the topic of understanding the Toastmasters International Dashboard. I know that some of you were with me last month, like Cheryl, Don, Coretta, and Dion. And Dushan is joining us for this session, which is part 2. Why don't we go ahead and hear from each of you? Let me know what brought you to the part 2 segment of the dashboard topic. Let me start with Don. I'll start with you first.
I'm just interested in finding out if there's anything else that I might not already know. So I'm just someone that is a sponge for knowledge.
Awesome. Again, Don was the first club growth director for District 103 Toastmasters. For him to say if there's something else for him to learn, I'm wondering, yeah, right. Don is going to be one of the resources I'm going to be tapping on his shoulder saying, hey, let's pull in some more information and give them some additional insight. I nicknamed Don in year 1 of District 103 our club growth director because Don knew a lot of insight about the dashboard. And I think today, as we look at daily reports and additional reports, he'll also be able to possibly learn some other things. And I think more mainly, he'll be sharing some insight as well. Don, thank you for being here and for sharing. Okay. Next, let's hear from Dion. Dion is our current program quality director for District 103. Dion, what brought you here today?
My main reason for being here is partly because of what Don had said, that I want to find out what I don't know. And I have not been with the district as long or with Toastmasters as long as Don has been. So I know that there will be nuggets of information that I will find useful for myself, as well as being able to share with those that are not on this call. So that's my reason.
Yeah, thank you. And I like what you said too, Dion, being able to share the information with other people. And with you being here, like Don, both of you are being sponges. You're taking that information in so you can use it yourself, yet being able to pass it on to others as well. Kudos, yay. All right, next up, Dushan, how about you?
Well, the basic reason why I'm here is because I use the reports, and I would like to know how to use it better for the district. And I'm glad that Don is here because he actually is a master of looking at the reports, ciphering. But I think that if I know as a division director how to successfully read the reports, I can help my area directors and help the trio with maintaining and making us stickers.
Good. Thanks, Dushan. Dushan is our current South Division Director. I know when Dushan was mentioning he's currently using the reports, he definitely understands the dashboard from his role as a division director. He's also helping to teach his area directors how to use it. Yet Dushan used to be an area governor before they were called area directors. Yeah, he used to be an area director. So he understands the usage of the dashboard and the reports there. Yet now that he's a division director, he's getting a completely different perspective on the reports. And I'm glad to hear, Dushan, that you're like Dion, here to take it in, here to learn more about it, and also being able to take that information and pass it on to your team as well. So thank you for sharing that. Cheryl Lane, I know you also are a division director right now for the Central West division. Share with us what brought you here for part 2.
Oh, I could say ditto to what everybody else said. And I know there's more about the dashboard that I don't know than I do know. And that's why I'm here today, to learn, and so I can be effective as a division director. Because when I was area director, I kind of fumbled through and kind of self-taught and, you know, picked up little things here and there, but I really would like to have a better understanding. So that's why I'm here.
I love it. Thank you so much. And I love the honest response too, Cheryl. You said when you were an area director, the usage of the dashboard, you really didn't get the opportunity to maximize its usage at that time. Now that you're a division director, you're looking to be able to better understand it, better utilize it, and also, like Dion and like Dushan, being able to share the usage with other people too.
Yeah.
So yay, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. Awesome. Coretta, welcome back. Now, Coretta, I'm testing my memory. I know you were with us last month. Are you a member of HHS Toastmasters Club?
Yes, good, great memory.
Yay.
Yay.
Go ahead and share with everyone what brought you to this part 2 of the session.
Well, I enjoyed the first session, and I really just want to learn more about the reports. I feel like I do echo what everybody else has been saying. I feel like knowledge is power. And in my current role, I'm trying to comprise or come up with reports on how to measure our progress on some of the projects that I'm working in the company. So I think that this area, just looking at the reports, that is going to trickle down and help me in my career growth too.
I love that. Being able to trickle down and help you in your career growth as well. Absolutely. And it also too, with the data that this report or the dashboard provides, it does give you the opportunity of learning how to read data, learning how to have that report experience. And as you said, trickling down into the career, I can definitely see the dashboard usage being one of those tools that can become a transferable experience for you. So thank you so much, Coretta, for sharing. And thank you all. Thank you everyone for sharing your information, your reason for being here. I am glad that you shared why you want to be here today. And what I know is that with this particular course, we're going to have the opportunity to have more of a hands-on approach, as we did last month. I won't be the only one sharing the screen and navigating through our information. You will have the opportunity to do the same as well. Therefore, go ahead and make certain that you have access to your internet. I'm looking at my system right now, making sure I have my Toastmasters International website up. So on your computer internet browser, make sure you have the Toastmasters International website up. And if we get it simply to the home page, that will be perfect. Let me also make a couple of other adjustments. Since I know we are going to be primarily sharing the screen, I am going to give us the opportunity of sharing the screen and being able to view the screen with the website tabs as opposed to a PowerPoint or anything of that nature. Therefore, I'm simply making a few adjustments, allowing you the chance to make certain that your Toastmasters International webpage is up, my page is up as well. And then I will ask for my first volunteer who will get the opportunity to navigate through the process of our dashboard. Let me make sure I also put inside of the chat box the dashboard link for those of you who may not have that. I am grabbing it. I like making sure I can copy and paste it correctly. Yet it is dashboards.toastmasters.org. Yes, you were hearing the S's. There's an S on dashboard, an S on Toastmasters.org. And there is the link inside of the chat box. Therefore, if you need it, That's what you can click on to make certain that you have access to it. Awesome. Let me make sure I'm double checking one other thing. As I said, I want to make sure I'm setting things up. I need to just double check that everyone can share the screen. Can you click your share screen button for me and make sure that share screen is activated? If you can do that, it'll open up a share screen window. I just want to make sure that you do have access. Therefore, when it is time, and I am going to stop sharing my sound to make sure that you will be able to share. Yay, good, good. Thank you for those responses inside of the chat box. All right.
Okay, Cassandra.
Yeah, Cheryl, go ahead.
You got the big dummy here. I don't know what I'm doing.
Tell me, what type of device,
Okay.
Cheryl, are you using?
I'm on desktop.
You're on a desktop. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
I think that's you. I think you're sharing.
I think so. Okay. Oh, okay. Now you want me to go to the Toastmaster page?
Oh, you can. And look at you jumping right on in there. So you're going to be our first volunteer to navigate us through, Cheryl. Yes, you're there. Here's what I want you to do.
Mhm.
Open up a new browser tab. So you see up top where your post attendee Zoom tab is, and then a plus symbol. And it's at the very top of your screen, upper, keep going above the phrase Zoom, that plus sign, click that plus line. That'll give you a brand new tab. In that tab, now you can put the Toastmasters website. Yep, look at that. It's coming up for you, auto-populating. Look at you, stay where you are. You don't have to log in. The great thing about the dashboard is that we don't have to be logged in as a member or as a leader in order to access it. Cheryl, your cursor is in a good spot, yet I want you to move over slightly to the right. I want you to click on Leadership Central. There you go. Now, move your cursor down to the first phrase underneath that column that says Distinguished Performance Reports. So move over to, Distinguished Performance Reports. That is the dashboard in essence.
Okay.
Last month I mentioned they call it the Distinguished Performance Reports, yet if you look at the website address, dashboards.toastmasters.org is the website address. So that's why we've nicknamed the Distinguished Performance Reports the dashboard, because of that email address that's there. And at one point in time, I'm sure they probably had called it the dashboard before it became so much more involved than what it is. Yet we know to access it, we don't have to be logged in. We do as Cheryl did, click that phrase Leadership Central, go ahead and click Distinguished Performance Reports. And this is where we come. Now, where you are right now, Cheryl, is the entire district, or I should say is the entire Toastmasters organization. Scroll down a little bit so that way we can see region 1 through, how many regions are there? Scroll toward the bottom so we can see how many regions exist. We have 14 regions in Toastmasters International, with a district, with a region U that's, and a district U that's usually undistricted or well, I guess that's the correct phrase. And Don, you can jump in and give me the correct term if I'm saying that incorrectly. Yet regions that are not yet numbered, or districts that are not yet numbered, are in this category, which gives me the indication we may be about to embark upon possibly a 15th region, maybe. Don, what's your take on that?
You refer to the region U?
The region U, undistricted, is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's typical for them to use that every year, region U.
Do you remember what the U stands for, Don?
I believe it's provincial districts.
Gotcha. Okay. See, what we're learning, everybody, we sometimes learn as we're on the move. And Cheryl, I'm glad that you moved us all the way to the bottom. As I said, I was curious. I wanted to see how many regions do we have. As Don pointed out, every year you tend to see a region U, you might see a district U, provisional districts, or as I'm calling it, undistricted. And that's probably not a real phrase. Yet it's really just referring to regions or districts that don't yet have a number. So when the alignment is done in August, more than likely they'll be moved to a certain place and have a new number and all of that. Yet anyway, we have 14 regions and over 121, 22 districts, probably a little bit more than that. So go ahead, Cheryl, back up to the top. This was simply an exploration of the main page. Sometimes when we're on these websites, we don't take the stop to review what we see. And this is the overview page. Now, I will tell you, if you ever wanted to find information about District 103, if you know that District 103 is in Region 5, you can stay here on the home page. Good, Cheryl, thank you for that. Yep, go ahead and click it. We're Region 5. And then District 103 is within that list. So go ahead and click Region 5 again, Cheryl, because what it did, it collapsed. When you click it again, now it expands. Perfect. And District 103 is the last one on that list. Go ahead and click District 103. What we're now looking at, everyone, is the main page for District 103's reports area. For those of us who are district leaders, area directors, division directors, trio members, we a lot of times need the overview of the entire district, and we'll come to this page, knowing immediately the paid clubs, the payments for membership, as well as the number of clubs that are distinguished. We see this information quickly, and starting next year, meaning January, February, March, and definitely after April, we're going to be looking at this information almost regularly because we will need those details as we're beginning to close out the club year to figure out the status of District 103, whether we'll be distinguished, select distinguished, presidents distinguished, or even Smetley distinguished. Yet, Cheryl, go ahead and scroll down some. I mentioned this is the home page. Now, what you'll notice as Cheryl is scrolling is that more information is being provided within District 103. You might have noticed the headers for division, and then you see some area information with numbers by it. And underneath the area information, there are club names and numbers that are listed as well. This is a quick overview for you. Clubs are within District 103. Of course, this is categorized by division, then by area. And within the area, it is then listed by club number, not alphabetically, but by club number. Numbers that are like 4 digits means they've been around for some time. Numbers that are like 8 digits long, that means they're pretty new. And what I mean by that is, I'm looking at Division S right now, for example, Area 51, the very first club that caught my eye when I said 4 digits. I'm looking at everything beyond the zeros. Therefore, Pathfinders, for instance, it has a club number of 2734. Yes, in the system, they have 00002734. That's because the system has 8 digits. Yet we actually consider Pathfinders to have a 4-digit club number, 2734. That means they've been around for quite some time. They might have been here, and actually Pathfinders, let me not guess. Cheryl, go ahead and click on Pathfinders and let it take us to the Pathfinder page, and we'll learn exactly when they were chartered. If you see the date that Pathfinders was chartered, either share that in the chat box or say it by the microphone. Do you see?
Mhm.
Yes.
June 1st, 1958.
1958.
Yeah. And I'm laughing because Dion got it in the chat box really quick. She was like, wow, yeah, 1958. They've been around for quite some time. And that's what I meant about clubs with 4 digits. They've been around for quite some time. The great thing about this dashboard is you never really have to guess about when a club started, because if you go to that homepage, or even if you were to type in 2734, you would be able to find their information on their page here. Thanks, Cheryl, for doing that. Now, Cheryl, I'm going to have you go back to that district page again. And here's what I want you to do with your cursor. I see you going in that direction. Go ahead and move over to District Performance tab. Right now, we're on that Club Statistic tab. Yep, District Performance tab. Click that and it should take us back to the page we were on before. It does. This is the overview. And now we are able to, again, we can see all of the clubs that are within District 103 Toastmasters. Cheryl, how comfortable are you feeling with the navigation that you've done for us?
Oh, I'm comfortable with this.
Good. You want to go to another area?
Sure.
Okay, good. While Cheryl is still sharing her screen and she is willing to navigate us through, what I would like to do now is, Cheryl, go back up toward the top. I know last month we focused on looking at the club information individually. This time, what I wanted us to focus on for this month was the category of other reports, where there are daily reports and additional reports. Cheryl, go ahead and click in the left-hand menu, where other reports are, click daily reports. Let's start there. Daily reports. Coretta and Dion, Dushan, Don, this particular page will let you know reports that you can access. It really depends upon what data you're wanting to know information on. That will influence which of these links that you click. Now, let me start with and I'm looking up top, I'm looking at April dues renewals, and I'm going across to October dues renewals. I'm looking at both of them simultaneously because they give you dues renewal information. We have 2 dues renewal cycles. We have dues must be paid by April 1st, and we also need dues to be paid by October 1st. So October 1st, we just finished. We're a few months away from April 1st. Those 2 tabs, or those 2 reports, will let us know the clubs in District 103 that actually renewed their dues. The clubs in District 103 that may not yet have renewed their dues, and some of the clubs in District 103 that look as if they might be closing. Therefore, Cheryl, go ahead and click the report link for October. Since we finished the October dues renewal cycle, this is a page that you'll see. And again, this is the short version, or I should say the more condensed version of all of the clubs within District 103. They are listed in this report right now by club number. We have a club that has a 3-digit number. Do you all see that? We have at least 4 clubs with 3 digits. We know they probably have been around before 1958, right? Yet those 4 clubs, as we're taking a look at the information on reports, we see 2 of those clubs have low membership. The minimum requirement for having club dues submitted has not yet been met. And that typically means they were not able to renew with at least 8 members. 3 of the members being members that have been members before, and 5 of them possibly a combination of new members and members from before. So there's an issue with their membership right now. They're low. Yet, as you begin to see the list, you're going to see lots of phrases that say verify complete, and you'll notice a date next to it. That date represents when Toastmasters International received and processed your club's dues. for the October dues renewal cycle. Let's see, I know that Broadview is club number 3303.
Mhm.
3303, I believe, is Broadview. So
Right.
let's see. Yep, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Mhm.
Yep, look at that. Broadview has dues on file. The dues were on file and submitted by September 22nd of this year. That's fantastic. HHS, I know is here. Now, of course, HHS. Do me a favor, Cheryl. Take your cursor, and I saw Dushawn Mosley do this trick not too long ago. Cheryl, I want you to take your cursor to the column where the club names are, and the title for that says name, click that for me. I think that's going to alphabetize this list by club name. It does, and it did it backwards, but that's okay. I just want to see where HHS is. Since I don't know the club number for HHS off the top of my head, this was a way to alphabetize the list to confirm. And look at that, HHS, you guys are all set, Coretta. Yeah, your list was in headquarters and processed by September 2nd. All right. Yeah. Any other club that we want to check on? Dushawn, you want to check on your club? Any club in your division? You can toss out a club number out there. We just want to.
It's Bow Literary Talkers. I don't know the club.
Bow
was the
Literary
name?
Bow Literary Talkers, BLT. So this is great. It's still
Yeah, right here.
alphabetized. Yep, there we
Mhm.
go. Yeah, they're good as well. September 16th. Awesome. Now, the reason I'm playing around with this particular list, and notice that I did two things with the list. Initially, when Cheryl got us to this page, I kept the view exactly as the system allowed it to be. It was alphabetized by club number. So the lowest number was first, the highest number was last. Yet when I wanted to find information on clubs in particular, I learned recently the little trick to make the list alphabetize itself. And that's when you click on the name header, it'll alphabetize the list. And I'm wondering, Cheryl, and we can test this out. I'm wondering out loud, go back to the name and see if we click it again, if it'll alphabetize with the ascending order as opposed to the descending order. Yep. There we go.
Mhm.
There we go. Yet if your club treasurer, your club secretary, if any of your club officers wanted to confirm that your dues were on file and Toastmasters International had processed it, you would go to the October dues renewal report in order to find out that information. So that's one of the reports that we tend to use quite often.
Mhm.
Yeah, any thoughts, any comments, or any questions, anyone on the daily reports for the dues so far?
So when it says renewals not here, does that mean nobody paid dues?
That's
Yep.
right, Cheryl. Yep, that's exactly right. And that
Okay.
is something that our club growth director and the club growth team, they're really paying attention to that. They're looking at any renewals not here. That either means the club, if it's a corporate club, maybe working on getting a check from their company to get it to Toastmasters International, and there's a delay. Another reason that it might exist with that phrase is because the club is about to close and they're in the process of doing their suspension paperwork or the closeout paperwork. I don't remember the official term of that paperwork, but that means they're no longer wanting to be a club and they're going to officially close. And that is another reason why you might see that. Now, of course, I'm going to, hey, Dushawn, I see that you are in the queue. Go ahead and ask your question or make your comment.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to be in the queue. I must. Now that I am in the queue, can you sort it by division?
Can we sort it by division? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can
Cheryl.
sort it by division. You can sort it by who's paid, who's not paid.
The reason why I want to see by divisions because that's, for me, that's kind of more interesting. Because I can see South Division is the first one up. I can see everybody by division.
Good point. And now with it being sorted by division as well, especially from a district standpoint with the club growth director, now by division, the club growth director can more quickly see out of those clubs that might have low renewals or minimum requirement not yet met or no renewals on here, they can see how many of those exist between each division. And that's much faster sometimes to break it down.
Mhm.
Yeah, good.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Cheryl. You can go ahead and stop your screen share.
So
And
what
I
do I do? Oh, stop share. Okay.
You're good. Look at you. Where's my reaction icon? I am celebrating you. That was
Yay!
fantastic. I love when you were like, oh no, I don't know this. Listen, you jumped right in, you were ready. And thank you for being flexible to go with the flow. Good. Who would like to be the next volunteer to help us navigate? We'll go again to the dashboard and you'll share your screen to navigate us through another set of daily reports. We're going to the Toastmasters International website, going over to the dashboard. And as I said, we will look at daily reports.
I can volunteer. This is Coretta.
Hey, Coretta, go ahead when you're ready, click the share screen and get us to the dashboard page. And then from there, once I know you're settled, I'll direct you to where we'll go to next.
I actually clicked on that link that you put in the chat. So I believe I'm already there to where you want, or I
Okay.
guess I'll share my screen and you can tell me.
Yeah, go ahead and do that and we'll double check.
Okay. You see?
Yes, you are. You're there. Go ahead and click on that left-hand menu. Within the left-hand menu, we have the daily report. So we have home, dashboard, Toastmasters, scroll. Yep, daily reports.
Okay.
We'll go there again. We paused here, or I should say, I'm going to pause here for a moment. If everyone remembers, when Cheryl was navigating us through a moment ago, we started from this page where we took a look at the dues renewal information. I specifically looked at October because that's the last due cycle we were in. If you took a look at April information, that would be from last club year. I wanted to focus primarily on this club year, which is why I did not look at April. I only wanted to look at October. Yet this page, as you will see, still gives us information that we can check on reports. Now, Coretta has us here on this page, and I want to highlight a few of these reports that I want you to be aware of, yet we will look at one a little bit more in depth in a moment. So let me start with the next two reports that are underneath the dues. I want to highlight for you and just simply mention to all of you that your club officer lists are so important for a district. Let me know in the chat box, does your club select officers once a year or twice a year? Is it once a year or twice a year? So once a year or twice a year. Okay. Once a year for the clubs or twice a year for the clubs. And I know in my home club, we select club officers once a year. So that means our club officers have a term from July 1st of 2021 until June 30th, 2022. Cheryl, thanks for letting me know your club is the same way as well, once a year. Coretta, how about your club? Is your club selecting officers once or twice in a year?
I've been with the club less than a year. I believe that it's twice a year, but some people have had the roles, it seemed like, since I've been there. So I feel like some people just like, they just keep it like they've been doing the same thing for years.
Okay, and that could very well be true. And what I'm also thinking too, for your club might be on the annual system. So that means that right now, everyone is in a role that they got elected to serve or appointed to serve in for an entire year. Are you all asking for new club officers for January of 2022?
I know that for some things that some people have situations where they maybe have to leave and then maybe they're temporarily not available and then they have an open role. Like I believe right now that we have a secretary one, that the person that was secretary needed to step down. So
Okay.
it seems like things like that happen with the club.
Gotcha, which gives me a great indication. I think my instincts are correct. Your club selects club officers annually, and you simply fill in with the officers as needed. And that's a good thing. Annual is good. The reason you see January club officer list and then July club officer list is that for the clubs that elect officers twice a year, they elect officers for July, and that means their officers serve for 6 months. Then they elect a new set of officers for January, and those officers then will serve for 6 months. So the terms will go from July until December, and then January through June. Most of the clubs that are represented today are doing July through June, 1 full year. Therefore, your club officer list, you want to go ahead and make certain that that's been submitted. Click July club officer list status for me. And I'm glad what we did here. Do you see that it says, sorry, no data available? What that means is we didn't select the district before we clicked this report. And that's okay, because over in that upper left-hand corner, you'll see Coretta where it says change districts. Because there is nothing there right now, we want to just use that drop down window, scroll toward the bottom and select 103.
Okay, oh, I went too quick. Okay, here's 103.
Yep, there we are. And it'll bring us back to the list here. All we do one more time is just select July club officer list status. And now it'll take us there. There we are. And what it also shows you too is if it says annual, that lets you know the process your club uses for getting your new terms, getting your new club officers. And thus far, so most of the clubs that are listed here toward the top of the screen are annual. Yet let's do what we did before. Let's find HHS. And do you remember what your club number is?
Yes. The 1279802.
Okay, go ahead and scroll down then, because we have to get to the bigger numbers.
Should I sort it, or is it by club number, or is
Do it by
sorted
club name. Do it by club name, because at least it'll put it in alphabetical order.
Oh, it did it backwards. Okay. Okay, now it should be easier to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, and you guys are annual. So you do it once a year, and your list is on file. It's been received. Same concept here, everyone, as with the dues. Once Toastmasters International gets your information, they put a process date. They'll say that it's been received and the date that they processed it, and that lets you know that everything is okay with headquarters, with your new club officers getting information. Good. Thank you for doing that portion, Coretta. We'll go back, and I want you to stay as our navigator right now, Coretta. Yet I want to go back to that page, and I want to take a look at one other report. Yeah, here, I don't want to go, you know what? I'm pausing myself. I'm thinking out loud and talking to you and distracting you. So let me get myself together, Coretta.
That's fine. I learned something new today, so that's good.
Good, good. All right, so then here's what I want to do. Remember how when we came to this page initially, it says, sorry, no data available, and we had to select the district?
Yes.
The great thing from this page is that you can stay here and just keep changing the reports. You don't have to keep going back to that main page that I was showing you where all the reports were listed. There you go. You just simply use that drop down arrow and you can now switch between the reports there. So we took a look at the dues. We were looking right now at the July club officer list. There is a list that our club growth director and the trio members use. They look at new clubs. They look at prospective clubs. They also look at new club sponsors and mentors and club coaches. Members at the club level don't typically use those particular reports, because those are more at the district level. So like Dion would be using it. The division directors, Dushan and Cheryl, would be using those reports as well. For every member though, I think a report that they can use at the club level as a leader, at the district level as a leader, and even as a club member is educational achievements. Go ahead and click educational achievements for me, Coretta. This page is now going to show you, again, for the entire district, every member who have earned an education award. It lets you know their club number, what division and area their club is in. It then lists the award that the member has earned and the date that award was processed. If the member is on file where Toastmasters International can send them information, you'll see their last name, then their first name. If, however, the member has opted out, you will see the phrase name unavailable. Toastmasters does not put the person's name if the person opted out of receiving mailings from Toastmasters International. Then you'll see the name of the club, you'll see the location of the club, and this particular report you can see for the current year, and then there's also one for previous years as well. I'm going to look only right now at the educational achievements for this year. Coretta, just allow your cursor to scroll from the top of the page to the bottom. Let's see right now how much data is here. I say not a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not as much as it will be in a few months. This is a list that I tell you, by the time we get to the annual conference, I believe March 31st is the deadline for members to get their awards into the Toastmasters system. That way they can get recognized at the achievements ceremony during the conference. This list is going to almost increase by a third, if not a half. It's going to become much more lengthier than what it is right now, depending. Thanks, Dion. She said, yes, March will be the cutoff. Having served as program quality director before, I remember we had pages, like that cursor kept going and kept going. When we exported this list to sort it and know who had, it was hundreds of members on this list. Yet right now it's manageable. It's manageable. Let's see if your clubs have awards on file. Let's scroll up, Coretta, and we're going to use the trick that we've been using so far to get this list in alphabetical order.
Okay. You want it by name, you said? All right.
Yeah, by name, and double check it, double click it to get it in. Yep, there we go. Awesome. Now we have it in alphabetical order from ascending order. And as you take a look at the list, visually now you can see quicker approximately how many awards have been submitted per club. Let's scroll down and let's take a look and see if we see some familiar club names. I know Dushan had asked about Bold Literary Talkers earlier. We see them on the list with 4 awards. Broadview Toastmasters has a couple of awards on file. And am I seeing some people's names I'm recognizing that are here in session with us? Look at that. I see Dion and I see Cheryl on the list. Look at them being on the list with awards being submitted this year. Great job for representing. Awesome. Let's scroll down and see. Now, Don, I'm almost scared to ask you how many clubs you belong to, because I know you tend to belong to multiple clubs simultaneously. Yet look at this. I see another familiar name with 2 awards on it. Look at Coretta. All right. A PM2 and a PM3. Those presentation mastery levels 2 and 3 on file. Yes. Fantastic. I need to celebrate all of you guys. Let me put that celebration. That's up for Dion. That's up for Cheryl. That's up for Coretta. Absolutely. Good. Let's see if we can. Why don't we do this now? Go to the member name, Coretta. Scroll back up and let's fix this list so that way we can see it by member name. So click member, we'll get it by member name. And actually click it again so that way we can have it in reverse, because I know Don's last name is Williams. I'm just quickly looking. And then I know Dushan's last name is Mosley, and I'm quickly looking to see their names as well. And I appreciate both Dushan and Don allowing me, keep scrolling toward the bottom. I appreciate you guys allowing me to use this as an experience of navigating through the list. And yeah, so there's Dushan there. Good. With a DTM award. Fantastic. DTM award for the year. I'm sure Dushan is going to end up with another award or 3. He likes getting triple crowns. He likes earning 3 awards at least every club year, so that way he can get recognized by the district as a triple crown earner. So that will more than likely, we'll see his name on that list again. Good. And let's double check. Do I have any on the list? I'm celebrating you guys and talking about you all. Let's scroll. My last name being Lee. Let's scroll toward the bottom. And let's see, do I have any being processed yet? Not yet. Not yet, but they're in the works. So that means the next time I look at a list, I better see my name show up here. So this is fantastic. Wonderful. Coretta, thank you. And thank you so much for navigating us through the awards. We'll pause here for a moment. That way, does anyone have any thoughts, any comments, or any questions about the educational achievement information that we looked at? This report, rather.
I'm curious of how is this report actually utilized by the growth director?
It is utilized primarily by the program quality director.
Okay.
So that means Dion is the one that lives by this list, because she's looking at this list to see for clubs who are earning education awards. Those education awards help with meeting goals number 1 through 6 of the Distinguished Club program. And then the club growth director looks at it as well, but club growth director is really going to be eyeballing membership growth, membership retention. Dion is the one that lives by this. And you might have noticed that Dion also put in the chat box, the date was in March, when I said the list is more than likely going to get larger because members are going to try and get their awards in, because I believe March 31st is the cutoff to get their awards in before the annual conference. Dion chimed in and said, yes, March is the deadline. So that lets you know right now, she's definitely into it. Thanks, Dushan. You're right. You're, as a division director, division directors are using it too. So that means Dushan and Cheryl will be using it. Hey, Dushan, can you unmute and let Coretta know from a division director standpoint how you would be using this report?
Well, how I would be using it is that, number one, I would sort by the areas so that I can see how the areas are broken out. And the reason why I would do that, you can go to the top and sort by area for me. The reason why I do that is I want to see how my areas are doing in the South Division. So as you move down further, you notice that, because I'm in the 50s, my areas are in the 50s. I can see, there we go. So now I can get to see how my areas are actually doing, and I can see what awards they're making. If I find out that as we go through the year, we're halfway done, and you don't see very many awards being made for the first half of the year, then it's going to be kind of interesting about how we're going to get enough awards to get them to be distinguished. So it really helps us to kind of help area directors understand that they need to talk more about, through the club, more about how they should start doing more speeches, less table topics. No, do table topics, but do more speeches.
Great, thank you, thanks, Dushan. I'm hearing someone else. Go ahead and take the floor. And that's good, Dushan, that you described it the way you did. You said, you're looking at it area by area. It gives you a perspective based on area, the number of awards that have been earned thus far. The earning of the awards, again, are tying into the Distinguished Club Program, the DCP, that lets you know which clubs are actually having members earn these education awards. Once the members are earning the awards, the clubs get credit for that. When the clubs are getting credit, the area and the division and the district is getting credit. So it's that residual effect. I'm pausing because I'm also thinking of something else, as well as I'm looking at this list and I'm looking at it being divided. Oh, good, Dion. Thank you for your comment. I was thinking something along the same lines. Yeah, I think you clarified it, or you're verbalizing it in a much better way than it was being jumbled in my brain. And you're right. You say, yes, it shows how engaged are the members and the clubs and pathways. And it can also be used to encourage members to keep it up. Yep, that motivation, the motivation. The other side that I was also thinking, which is part of the reason my brain was so jumbled with the thought, is the fact that we may have clubs where members are doing the work. The awards just have not yet been submitted. Looking at a report in this respect could possibly give us an indication of clubs that we know for sure have always been earning awards and we don't see them on the list. That could be an indication that the awards are not being submitted. Dion, go ahead and take the floor.
Absolutely, because, now I can see that, for example, I'm looking at Wayo, that I know that, you guys are engaged. But let's say, for example, if I didn't see you guys on here at all, I'd go, well, what's really going on? So you're absolutely correct. It not only, it tells you who is engaged and it tells you who's not. And if there is an issue, because our officers change every year. And so clubs could be engaged, they could be doing their speeches, they could be in pathways, but maybe there's an issue with the VPE not really understanding how to move people forward. So it gives us, it gives a lot of indications for what is and what's not going on.
Good point. And I'm glad that you spoke to that, Dion, being the program quality director. And Coretta, I think Dion's comment is giving additional insight for your initial question. Would the club growth director be using it? Yeah, they would to a certain extent. Yet, like I said, the program quality director, oh, she's living by this report, basically. She's really using it. And she knows, as all of us in the district, we recognize the report that we see doesn't necessarily always speak 100% the truth of what's happening within the club, yet it gives us at the district level enough information to reach out to the club to see what's going on, what might be happening, what more can be done to help and support, or possibly even explain what goes on. Because as I said, there may be clubs, members are doing the speeches, they're checking off things, but the awards are being checked off in base camp and not being submitted in Club Central, which is how they would show up on this list. The award has to be put in Club Central so they can be on the education awards list.
Okay, that makes sense too. There might also be members who might not be logging into base camp, even though they're giving speeches, and then it's not being recorded or logged into the system too.
Ah, yeah. And for me, Coretta, if you're not logging into base camp, how then are you really delivering the speech? And I know that's more of a rhetorical question.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just from me being new, and then I actually log in, but then from talking to some people, then somebody told me, well, everybody doesn't necessarily log in, and like they said, they don't really do like how you do, Coretta. Everybody doesn't really go in and log in and look at all the different things they're supposed to do. Some people just give speeches and they don't look at the criteria or anything.
Yeah, so then that means they're giving speeches that may not be fully meeting the criteria. And that's, yeah. Yeah, that's
like-
interesting. Go
Oh
ahead.
my goodness.
Go ahead.
It's like writing, like, you have to write a paper and the subject is on dogs and you write one on cats. You didn't read the syllabus. And that's what, and so, and I missed it, Coretta, you are the president of HSS?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice, thank you for that compliment. I've been with the club for less than a year. I'm a member of the club. I was just saying that somebody that I talked to at some
okay.
point told me that some people don't necessarily go into base camp and look at all the criteria when they perform speeches, because I guess on the Toastmasters site, when you sign up for roles, it does have a drop down where you can just pick you could pick, like, say if you're doing presentation mastery, you could just click the different, like,
Right.
levels or and that's what some people do. Some people don't log into base camp.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the training, and I know, Dion, you're going there, that training for pathways is teaching. It's really a 3-part process. I say it is the pre-work, it's the presentation, and then it's the post-work. Post-work and pre-work is inside of base camp.
Right.
And members have to understand they should read the material, watch the videos, listen to the audios, then do the prep for the presentation. The presentation is the actual speech in the club. And after that's over, go back into base camp, finish out the assessment, that final little bit of work that needs to be done, and let the system then, boom, process it, move you ahead with your progress, show that now you're 34, 67, 97% done with your path. That progress isn't being tracked if they're not going into base camp.
And they're not getting credit.
No, they're not.
They just standing there. I mean, yeah. So if you hear that, Coretta, you should tell them then, you're not getting credit for this. You know that, right?
That was just for me trying, like, being a new person in Toastmasters, asking questions and preparing for speeches and talking to different people. That's just something that I learned. Right.
And I'm saying that now that you have learned that when they do that, they are getting absolutely no credit. They will not be recognized. They will not be acknowledged. They are doing it for nothing because nobody knows about it, just them. That's it.
Wow, and I think that's an issue that not only, Coretta, we don't want you to think that.
No, it's not just your club. No.
I don't know.
No, trust us. We know.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know, because this will make sense for the president of each Toastmasters club to view this report too, because then it could signal to them that maybe they need to talk to their VP of membership their VP of education, I would say, because I think the VP of education is the one that approves, like, when you do your speeches and you reach a certain level.
You are absolutely correct. Yes, and like Cassandra said, no, we are by no means trying to point you out. It's like it, but just to actually hear it again, and it's just confirmed. We know that this is going on through the district, and it's something that, hopefully understanding the dash will help to reveal to those that need to know that this is what's, those that can, really talk to their members, if this is what's happening, so anyway.
That makes sense. Some people it could be that some people just think to themselves, okay, I don't feel like doing this logging in. I know I need to do it, because I know that I've heard that those words from somebody say, well, this person just said, well, I know I probably need to do this, but I just didn't do it.
Yeah, and for us at the district level, it's like, how many more trainings do we need to do? How can we get people to attend the trainings that we do? That way they know some of these insider tips. And how can we most importantly, change the mindset of members who might have been around when the manuals were here
That's
and
the
have
key
a new
part.
change in behavior for this new system. Yeah, so there are so many different things that are going on with us right now, Coretta. I'm sure you hear the wheels of our brains turning. Yet, as our program quality director has pointed out, it is happening district-wide, and we haven't found the best solution, which is why we're making the attempt to use so many different solutions. What you're learning here, you can definitely go back, share with your clubs. Just because you share it,
Absolutely.
though, we recognize they won't always follow it. They'll follow it once they get that realization. Yeah, they get that personal realization. Dushan, thank you for your comment inside of the chat box. I appreciate your comment about Free Toast Host is not connected to Toastmasters International. Yes, I was listening, Coretta, when you mentioned that they can go into the Toastmasters International website and sign up for a speech. When you described it, I thought, oh, you're meaning Free Toast Host website, not the Toastmasters International website. So yeah, I was like, oh, they got something new going on. Yet I got it. I knew what you meant after you explained it. Yeah, and I recognize that what Dushan is saying is that sometimes members think that Toastmasters International's website is connected to Free Toast Host. So once you sign up for a speech and it appears that you've given a speech, it does not credit anywhere with the Toastmasters International site that speech has been done. And we know that sometimes people think that process, and that's not it. Yet being able to have Free Toast Host is a way to record it, because they also give reports. And at some point, and I think, Dushan, aren't you doing a Free Toast Host training at the TOI in December? And I know you can type that in the chat box for me. You can verbalize it. Yeah, I think Dushan is going to do a Free Toast Host website, Free Toast Host website training at the TOI on December 11th. And I'm more than certain he's going to talk about the reports that Free Toast Host gives. So that way, when members give speeches, they can now do a search for all the speeches that they delivered. And it's a record. For a VPE, oh my goodness, that's like a gold mine. It helps me to know when my members have delivered speeches that we might have forgotten to actually track inside of their base camp, or where we can confirm the awards that are being submitted. So yeah, Free Toast Host is a completely different resource. And again, thank you, Coretta, for mentioning it and for allowing it to be a part of this conversation. And I'm so glad that you were able to navigate us through the educational reports. And as I said, this one was for the educational reports of the current year. We could also look at the years past as well. Oh, thanks, Dushan. Thanks, Dushan, for saying that. Yeah. You said the presidents, the VPE, and the secretaries need to come to that training. Yeah. So thanks, Coretta. You can go ahead and stop your screen share. Thank you so much for being our navigator. Woo-hoo-hoo.
You're welcome. I learned a lot today. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. All right. I am looking at my timepiece. We got some time for at least another report that we can take a look at. Who would like to be our navigator right now? I think this time what I want to do is look at additional reports. Additional reports, though, has so much information. I'm going to do a high-level review of at least 2 or 3 things from that category. Dushan, are you pulling up your share screen? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm getting into that screen now.
Okay.
You want me to do additional reports?
Yeah, the additional reports. And remember, everyone, today what we did, we highlighted a few of the reports under daily reports. We did not look at every one of those individually or as in-depth as we did some of them, which means you are more than welcome. And I definitely highly encourage you, whatever we looked at today, go on your own and look at it again. And whatever we didn't look at in depth, definitely go and look at it in depth as well. So this is awesome. Thank you, Dushan. I see he is on the daily reports. Keep in mind, or not daily reports, he's on the additional reports. I'm thinking daily reports because I was getting ready to say, keep in mind, you're fine, Dushan, you stay there, you stay there. I'm clarifying, correcting myself. Remember everyone, we started on the dashboards, dashboards.toastmasters.org. That page opened up, it showed us the entire international organization. It was organized region by region by region. Cheryl was our first navigator, and Cheryl, I had her go and click daily reports. No, actually Cheryl was the first one. So I had her click region 5 and district 103, and we saw the overview of district 103. Then Cheryl did take a look at the daily report link, and we were able to see, Dushan, why are you, he's listening to me speak. Yeah, you say where you are, Dushan. I'm just simply reviewing thus far what we've done. And Cheryl, like I said, she got us the opportunity to see the duals information. When Cheryl was done, we then had Coretta, who was our second navigator. Coretta also went to the daily reports. And that time, Coretta gave us the chance to see an overview of all the daily reports, but then I had her look very specifically at the educational achievements. And also with Coretta being the navigator at that point, we learned another trick. Most times we were on that home page where we saw all the reports listed out in the center of the page. You would click one, then you would go over to the reports list and see the clubs listed in club number, order, and blah, blah, blah. Yet when Coretta was our navigator, instead of having her go back to that home page, I said, hey, Coretta, there's a trick. We can stay on this page, just like we were on this page initially, and we had not yet selected the district number. So we learned a trick. You can be on that page, even if it says, sorry, no data, don't freak out. Just go to where it says select the district number, select district 103, and boom, all that data populates. The other trick we learned with Coretta was you can switch between reports. And I think that was the most important part there. We could see the list for the officers, the list for the dues, the club mentors, club sponsors. Yet, like I said, Coretta focused primarily on allowing us to be able to navigate through educational achievements. And we had a great conversation. We looked at awards, and our program quality director gave us some additional insight. And now we're here with Dushan being our navigator. Dushan's page, as you will notice, looks slightly different than what we were seeing before. That's because he is now on the page that says additional reports. Dushan, do me a favor. Go to your secondary tab, your district performance tab, I believe. Yes. The way that Dushan got here, everyone, is the fact that he was on this page. Thanks, Dushan. And you don't have to click it because we know the tab is already open in the other tab. Yet I just wanted to show you that we were here on this home page with this report information. He simply clicked where it says other reports. After daily reports, there's the category for additional reports. Once he clicked it, he then had to go to the other page. And you might remember he started scrolling through to find District 103. He scrolled through, he found District 103, he clicked District 103, and now he has the summary information in the big window pane. And as you'll notice, it says District 103. One of the helpful things about the additional reports is that it does tell you the boundaries of District 103. You'll see that it says Chicago and Southern Cook County. Well, that's those are the boundaries for our entire district, unless you know that it's basically all of the Chicago area plus the south suburbs. Anything that would be north is in District 30, which we used to be a part of. But because we're now so big, we have our own boundaries. We're all of Chicago, for the most part, all of Chicago. and then the southern of Cook County. This list is a list, Coretta, when you mention Club Growth is using, Program Quality Director is using, and the District Director are using the information in this report. Our division directors are also using this report in addition to area directors. Yet from the district level, I would say the leaders that are using this report the most are our trio members, meaning the district director, program quality director, and the club growth director. Now, there's a lot of information that's in summary view here. So of course we see in chart format, the information that we initially saw in a visual format. On the previous daily reports page, we were able to see paid clubs, membership payments, and distinguished payments. It was in the visual. Here it's just in a grid. Same information, simply a different format. Dushan, you can begin to start moving through the club goals information, and you'll notice that this is a quick summary and it lets the district leadership know certain number of clubs that have achieved the goals of the DCP, certain number of clubs that have achieved the membership payments. This quick chart on the left gives you that information, and then the one on the right is at least giving you the information quickly about those officer visits, or not officer visits, the area director visits, the reports being submitted. So July through October visits, January through April visits, again, talking more about paid clubs, also the number of distinguished clubs. Technically, we don't start seeing distinguished club numbers until after the April 1st dues renewal period. And that's why you see that phrase in red that says, remember that paid clubs today can still be lost if they don't pay April dues. Thanks, Dushan. Now, and I'm glad that you're scrolling to this category, because this is information that division directors can use to their advantage. B, S, G, C, and F. Those are the acronyms, nicknames. I'll call them nicknames. That's the shortened way in which we refer to the divisions of District 103. District 103 has 5 divisions. Central South is the B. The S division is simply South Division. G is actually Central West Division. I know that G is Cheryl Lane's division, S is Dushan's division, and then we still have 2 more divisions. We have Central North, which is the C division, and then Central East, which is the F division. Yeah, I know some of those initials or letters don't seem to reflect the phrase, yet just go with us. Know that those letters represent, again, the nicknames of our 5 divisions. And that's why a lot of times when you see information that comes out from District 103 Toastmasters, if we're referring to the divisions, we also put the letter in parentheses to let you know that we're talking about the B or the F or the G division with the full name of the division as well. Yet this information, statistical data, that's really helpful. Thanks, Dushan. Yeah, go ahead and scroll. And I'm just allowing Dushan to scroll through this chart here because it's giving some information, again, area by area, yet division by division for what's happening within the clubs. And it's tracking primarily the visits, the paid clubs, the distinguished clubs, and it's letting you know any of the additional goals and the overall score within the district. Don, I'm going to defer to you for a moment. Is there any additional insight that you would like to share about the data in this section of the report that you think might be helpful for division directors in particular? And I'm simply, I think Don is still here. Yep. I see. Don, whenever you get the opportunity, you can chime in. And even Dion, from your perspective, is there any additional data that you think for the division directors in particular that they would need to know?
I think this just, again, it's just more information on how they can see how well the different areas are doing in their division. I think that talking about clubs that are paid, where they talk about, their goals and things like that, that helps them in how they can be helpful to those clubs. So I think that mainly that's what this information is going to be good for.
Good.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead,
Sure.
Cheryl. Mhm.
Okay, I'm looking at G92. This says July through October, 5 of 4 visits. That means of the 5 clubs that area director has 4 she's visited.
That she's turned in reports, yes.
Okay, and then 5 of 5. So that means all 5 of the clubs though have paid their dues.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. And how come they're highlighted in green and then some of them are just white? I mean, I'm looking for the thing to like, okay, G92 through C21 are all green, then S52 is 1 of 3. How come that's in white? Or S54? See
Now,
what I'm talking about?
yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Cheryl, that's because it's in green, they're achieving that goal.
Oh, okay.
And Dion, if I got that incorrect, you are more than welcome to add any additional insight to that. But I do believe it's because they've been able to meet or surpass that goal. And because we're not yet in January through May visits, that's why nothing is highlighted in that column at all. Distinguished clubs, we know we won't start seeing that get highlighted until in
Right.
April.
That is correct.
Yeah. Good. And then
Okay.
in speaking of Cheryl, your question is great. I think it also leads to another category of this report that Dushan will scroll to in a moment. So think about what you saw for G92, and I'm going to double check when we get to the category that I'm thinking of, what are the details there for that area. So hold on to G92 for me.
Okay.
Dushan, go ahead and scroll down because Cheryl made a comment about the support, and I know club coach area is coming up next, right?
Okay, can I just make a comment on this real quick?
Oh yeah,
Is
go
that
ahead.
You might see that G93 has 6 of 4 and S33 has 6 of 5. That's because at the deck meeting was discussed that there's possibility for the area directors to go to have many club visits. They can have as many as they want to. So even though they only might have 3 or 4 clubs, they might have visited them several times and put in club visit reports. And that's what's happening when you see that 6 to 5 and 6 to 4. They've done extra work. So the ones in green are the people they were done all of their visits and they paid all their dues. That's the reason why they're in green.
Okay,
The other one.
so that's complementary to what we were saying then. Good. Thank you for that. Now, the clubs that need coaches, this list can sometimes be very extensive and it's alphabetized by area. We know the letter is representing the division. The number is representing the area, and then the club number, of course, is for the club itself, and it matches the club name. Members is telling us how many members the club has right now. Typically, any clubs with 12 or fewer members tend to be on this list. If they have 0 members, that's a club that's either not yet paid dues because they're waiting on a corporate check, not yet paid club dues because they're waiting on members to get it together, or they're going to be clubs that are closing. Dushan, as you're scrolling through, what's the number that tells us within District 103, the number of clubs that need a coach? Scroll to the bottom of that list. the number of clubs that are on this list. We have 59 clubs that are eligible for coaches. That means we have a little bit over 50% of our clubs which need coaches. And it says of which 48 don't have any assigned. So over 80% of our clubs that need a coach don't have a coach. Coretta, when you asked that question about club growth director, this would definitely be one of the reports and a portion of the report that the club growth director would be paying a high level of attention to. We will be seeking members who could serve as club coaches because we're going to need them. And then it looks like the last piece of information on this list is about the education awards, the clubs that have been earning education awards and the number of education awards they have on their on the books right now, and if they are within the top 10 clubs. I know my club, the Wrightwood Ashburn Overcomers WAO Toastmasters Club, only started to appear on this top 10 list with District 103, maybe about a year or two ago. And I know District 103 is only 5 years old, which means the first 2 years of District 103, we were not appearing on this list because we typically would have 30 plus members, and the number of education awards that were earned per member or per, as they call it here, per membership base was typically so few that we would not make the list. Clubs that had fewer members than us would beat us out with the number of awards. And of course, I think I'll just keep that comment to myself for right now, because a lot of times when I look at this list, I think this list should really reflect only the clubs that are at charter strength. If you don't have 20 plus members, you shouldn't really be in the top 10 list. That's just my theory, always has been. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, but it just does, like Dion said earlier, if WAO is not on the education awards list, it's like, what are you all doing? What's going on? Something is happening. And we know that this is one of our goals that we strive for every club year. We want to make the list. One day we would like to be number one. However, right now we're settling in for at least make the list, which means our members need to be earning education awards. All right, everyone. I think that's about all we have time for today. Wow. I'm chuckling because I'm like, we covered quite a bit, but I know there's still more that we could have covered. Dushan, thank you for being our third navigator for the day and for giving us the opportunity to experience the additional reports. Primarily, that was the summary page, everyone, of the additional reports. I want you to investigate that a little bit further though, because with that report, I want you to be able to see, and Cheryl, I thought we would get to it, but it wasn't on that page. You know what? How about we still do? Dushan, can you do me a favor? Let's do it anyway. We may go a few moments over, but I want to go to the page I was thinking to answer Cheryl's question. Was that G96, Cheryl?
It was 92.
G92. Go to the,
I think it was 92.
Hey, Dushan, click area, go to the middle column where the area to-dos and then the individual dates are listed. Click the phrase area to-dos, area to-dos. And I know that it might take a minute. Okay, yes, this was the page I was thinking of, Cheryl. This page, of course, gives us, again, the boundaries of the district. It gives us all the divisions we have within 103. It shows all of the areas within each of those districts, and that's at the top. What they did was they hyperlinked all of that information. So that way, if you only wanted to go to one division or one area, you click it, boom, it'll take you there as opposed to scrolling through all the data. Dushan, go ahead and click then Division G, G92. Click G92. Here is the data for G92, and it gives you more specifics, Cheryl. It lets you know that the August through November club visit goal has been met. The area will need 4 more February through May club visits in order to qualify for any level of distinguished. Whatever the area director did the first round, they want to make sure they do at a minimum that or even better, because they met the goal initially, they can meet the goal a second time. It then lets you know, and the area director know, if G92 wanted to become distinguished. These are the things that the area would need to do. For simply being distinguished, the area would need to have the pay club goal met and get 3 other clubs within that area to become distinguished.
Okay.
And then it goes to the next area. So select and presidents and gives you the specifics. But before you scroll, Dushan, I need to take a look at those 2 clubs. There are 2 clubs that are listed for G92. G92, CTA Toastmasters has only 8 members and need a club coach. Here, Toastmasters only has 9 members and they need a club coach as well. This is a great report for the area directors to be able to see, because it gives them a quick way to troubleshoot or to be aware of the areas to focus on for their area. And especially with the clubs that need coaches, they now know specifically the 2 clubs to reach out to. And they can work with those 2 clubs as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. And this is usually a report that your club growth director, your district director will more than likely start having your teams pay more attention to starting in January and February. I think when Don was our club growth director, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that Don was talking about this report every meeting when he did a report as club growth director. So that meant all year our divisions were hearing about this information and knowing to go to these details and learn what clubs need help. And Coretta, what I'm thinking for you, because you're a member, you're at the club level, the leader level at the club, you might not so much look at the additional reports and the details here. You would more than likely focus primarily on the daily reports. However, now that you have the awareness about this report, this is definitely a report that your club leaders could use during your executive committee meetings. And also it'll help your club leaders too, when your area directors are talking to you about what's needed. This is usually what they're referring to as well. Awesome. I'm chuckling because I'm like, whoa, we got that in before we officially closed out. Thank you, Dushan, for navigating through that. And thanks, everyone. Were there any final thoughts, comments, or questions? And thanks, Dion. Thanks, Don. I see the thumbs up.
Yeah, let me do that.
Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate it. Thanks, Coretta. Awesome.
All right.
Well, I appreciate each of you, and especially for Coretta and Cheryl and Dushan. Thank you so much for being our navigators with the reports. Again, I wanted to give you the opportunity to have the experience of moving between reports, and instead of just listening to me or watching me talk about it, you at least on your own can now experience more of it. Next month, we'll have a session and it'll be another demonstration session. Yet this time, instead of focusing in on the dashboard, we're actually going to focus on the executive committee. We're going to have some fun doing an actual executive committee session. So Coretta, get your members together, your fellow officers, bring them on along, and trio members and district leaders, feel free to tell your teams about it as well. That will be the 3rd Sunday in December. And I'm saying it that way because, of course, I don't remember the actual date in this moment. Yet, thank you all for coming. And everyone, have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
All right, you too.
You too.
You do the same.
Will
Happy
do.
holidays to all.
Holiday.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.